So, James, why are we here again? Because all I saw was an announcement which some old comedian and some actor who starred in like Good Omens was deciding to guest star in the 60th special. Why is that an excuse for us to be here?
Well, Owen, it's because Sundays are now just news days.
Yeah,
So, and really, we're desperate for anything other than Chris Chibnall, aren't we? So,
you are.
yes, I am.
So why are we here, James? Tell us.
Why are we actually here? Seriously,
Yes, why are we here?
the sort of serious reason we are here is because David Tennant and Catherine Tate have been announced for the 60th anniversary. Well, you weren't saying they've been announced for the 60th anniversary directly, because I didn't fully see whether that was true.
Yes,
That
60th
is
anniversary.
true.
They'll be back.
Yeah, which, I mean, in one way, it's a wonderful surprise because obviously David Tennant is fantastic, and I will die on that hill. The other thing, though, is that in reality, it's the least surprising thing ever that David Tennant is back.
I think it's more surprising by the fact which they've got Donna Noble to return. They've got to have Catherine Tate to return.
That's the interesting one, isn't it? I mean, look, I am all for this coming back. I'm all for the Series 4 dynamic coming back because it was fantastic. The question is then, is that in what capacity will Catherine Tate return? Because Russell T Davies, as we know, is writing the 60th. It seems that it's going to be his first episode back, in fact, as showrunner, will be the 60th.
It's looking that way, isn't it?
It is starting to look that way.
It's looking like it's either going to be sandwiched or the starts.
So if we're using where Don Noble was left by Russell T Davies in the end of time, Donna still can't remember the Doctor.
Do you think that's how they're going to return it? Because I saw a clip once again of her closure in her storyline of being given the. Do you think they're going to want to work on the end of that, or are they going to insert themselves more into the middle and just go, "Oh look, the Doctor found himself in the middle of this adventure"? Because that wouldn't be the first time they've done something similar.
Yeah, to actually pull the Doctor out of sort of the past series, actually pull him out into this and then return him.
Yeah, because
Nothing against that.
they did that with, I think, the sixth Doctor. They brought back Troughton and Jamie as into like we just interrupted their adventures. Let's have them. I feel like I'd like that more than adding on to the Donna story, because I feel like the Donna story ended in such an amazing, heartfelt way.
I mean, hell, the Donna story ended in a heartfelt way at the end of Journey's End, and I think her inclusion in the End of Time was a little bit fan servicey and a little bit of Davies wanting to have everything wrapped up in a bow in that last two-parter. But even that felt like we were hanging on, so I wonder. Yeah, it's kind of one of two things, isn't it? Either, or it could be one of three things actually, but I'll tell you the third in a minute. So yeah, one, it will be pulling out of the story like you've just mentioned. Two is that Davies is going to evolve the Donna story somehow. Who knows? And three is it could be a Billy Piper situation from the 50th where it's Rose, but it's not Rose. Because it was the moment, wasn't it? Effectively took the form of Rose Tyler for some reason.
I would much rather, honestly, even though I dislike the idea of it adding on to the story of Donna, I feel like I'd much prefer that than it just being like some entity, like time, taking their form.
Yeah, because that was, it felt cheap. I mean, I could talk about the 50th anniversary and the pros and cons of that for a while. But the good thing is we've got them back. And as long as they've got scenes together where the dynamic is intact, I'd be happy. So I guess if I was like choosing, if I was in control of the episode, I'd probably go with the first option and just pull them out of Series 4.
Yeah.
And have a bit of fun in that way. It says a lot, doesn't it? And does this mean that every Sunday is going to be something new for Who News? Because we're now two in a row.
If so, we're going to have to start actually timing our record sessions to coincide around this time anyway, because we're going to have to review episodes and just go straight out of reviewing episodes into what's the Doctor Who news this time?
What's the news? I did have a little look at Twitter before we went on at the reaction to it, and obviously it's pretty positive. I mean, this is 10th and Tate. Everyone's wanted this. It's fantastic. But a lot of people are also saying, well, if you're going to bring Tennant back, then aren't you going to bring Peter Capaldi back? Are you going to bring Matt Smith back?
I think with Peter
I hope they
Capaldi,
do.
I think with Peter Capaldi, it's probably going to be a no because I think he's previously said he likes how he left his character off, so I don't think he will come back. Matt Smith is just is pursuing a route of taking on big blockbuster films, which then fail massively.
Matt Smith of Morbius fame. Well, he's in the greatest film of all time. Didn't it make $5 more billion or whatever the hell it was?
Yeah. So I don't think he would come back either. I think we're kind of in a situation really where the only Doctor which would come back is Tennant, and
unless Jodie did, but it'd be pretty quick.
For one which I really want to come back still.
Chris Eccleston.
No. Paul McGann. Yes, Eighth Doctor.
Paul McGann might come back.
Eighth Doctor. I think we need to make
Paul
Doctor.
McGann would do it.
Yeah.
We got him in for a bit of the 50th, didn't we?
Yeah.
For that little the video short that they did, which I thought was great, to be honest. Like that was the best bit of the whole the 50th week. I guess it was like a week of things for me. Was that Paul McGann bit?
Yeah, he remains, just based on the audio dramas which I've listened to him of, remains one of the more interesting Doctors.
I would love to see Paul McGann get like a proper story, like a proper treatment in Modern Who, because he deserves it. And I've heard a bit of the audio stories that you've listened to, and I've really enjoyed the bits I've heard. And I think he leaps off. He's got a slightly eccentric and a little bit of a standoffish personality, and that could play really, really well in front of Tennant, who's obviously a bit more right up there and in your face about things. Yeah, there's obviously we could talk about the 60th until the day is long and speculate about what will happen. But the question is interesting, isn't it? So this is going to be the first Shooty story.
Yeah, this is why I think it's going to be sandwiched, because it's going, even if it is just sandwiched by one episode on the other side, just to introduce the Doctor. Because otherwise, look at it this way: you're introducing a new Doctor, and you're going, "Oh my God, look, it's the fan favourite here as well." Like,
because one way to get rid of this thing,
take away your new Doctor, for hype from your new Doctor. Like we talked about it in Patrick Troughton's first story about whether you want to focus on the Doctor or the companions and all that kind of debate. But going, oh look, we've got a new Doctor, but look, it's the fan favourite Doctor.
Yes.
Like, what the
it doesn't give you a lot of opportunity to a lot of people in acting for TV talk about like the first series as being like the chance to set and get themselves set, because you're still finding your feet a little bit, and Shooty's not going to have the opportunity to find his feet if David Tennant is opposite him, essentially showing him the best incarnation of the Doctor widely seen, or at least widely seen as ever. That's a tough start. You would hope that there's a plan where the 60th is like at the end of a series or is just somewhere in the middle, like you say. Because he's got to get the chance to start off on his own terms.
Yeah, because otherwise it just won't have any way to introduce himself. But can I just say as well, it's just going to be a quick one, so I think we'll probably finish it after this point. Yeah. But can I just say how smart this is? They are getting in for new fans from having Shooty come in, which is then dragging off a new younger fans, but then also hugging back in all of those old fans who loved for Davy's era by bringing back your the most popular Doctor companion duos.
Yeah, it's starting to become clear what the plan is, isn't it? It seems to be like, and I remember saying it before, maybe even when we did the initial podcast that Davies had come back, I remember saying something on the lines of, the best thing they can do is take the best elements of what worked before and then spin them in a different direction.
Yeah.
And do something very, very different with them. And so I'm hoping it's going to feel like a remix of what came before in some ways, but also it's going to have enough of its own identity to feel separate from, I guess we're going to call it the Davies prologue. Hopefully it's the Davies prologue. Maybe this is even going to be the better era. I have a lot of hope, and I don't want it to let me down.
So let's leave.
The most hopeful I've been about Doctor in ages.
Let's leave on that hope. But first of all, just one quick thing I want to say, because how far in advance we've recorded and all that kind of stuff, so I won't actually be able to say this on our normal podcast episodes. Doctor Who Redacted on BBC Sounds is really good. Yes, it sounds like an ad, but it's really good. It's only starting to speed up after being really slow. But anyway, thank you very much for listening.
Keep the updates coming in about Doctor Who Redacted.
So thank you very much for listening. Next episode is probably going to be a bit late because instead of editing, I am recording this, and then we'll have to edit this out to get this out tonight. So tomorrow's episode, first episode, looking at season 6.
Yeah, we're at season 6 now.
So that will be out probably Tuesday or Wednesday. But anyway, thanks for listening to this emergency Doctor Who Info Black Archive special as we talk about for Tennant and Tate returning. My brain farted.
What were you going to call her?
I flipped off between calling her Noble, but then I realised no, that's not the actress's name.
Catherine Noble.
Yeah.
just crossing between. Yeah, I'm gonna go and put on some Converse.
Yes. So thank you very much for listening. Please remember to review and subscribe, and you can get in touch with us by tweeting us blackarchivepod@gmail.com. That's our email address, or you can tweet us blackarchivepod on Twitters.
Follow us wherever you get your podcasts, and if you haven't listened to us before, have a look. We've been reviewing a lot of the classic episodes, and they are good fun. So check them out.
Thank you very much, and goodbye.